Let's keep this conversation going about this huge win in Game 2. What do the Jays need to do to close out the series? Joining us live, TSN Radio's Matthew Cauz joins us all the time. Okay, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the bats, or do you want to start with Trey Savage on the mound? I'll let you pick it, Matt.
Yeah, those really are the two big stories.
Yeah.
Trey Savage was the #1 headline from yesterday, doing something no Blue Jay pitcher's ever done, or even any pitcher's ever done, with the 11 strikeouts and not allowing a run. But then on the other side, I think the #1 story for the entire weekend has to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Remember, we were going into the playoffs saying we need to see more power from Vlad. He was around 62nd in home runs during the regular season. And he got it started on Saturday with that solo home run that calmed things down. And then that grand slam there that made it 9-0, which was just, again, as everyone was saying, the place went crazy. So I think Vlad is actually probably the #1 story for what he did on both Saturday and on Sunday.
Matt, do you get the sense that this might have been because of the 5 days off the Jays had? Because there's been the whole rest versus rust argument that we've been seeing here. But it seems that the Jays had the opportunity to regroup after sort of narrowly edging out the Yankees, quite frankly, for the division title. And now they just look like the better team.
Yeah, they do. And we always have that debate between rest or rust. But clearly they did need the time off. Kevin Gausman, who pitched well enough on Saturday, certainly the rest helped him. Alejandro Kirk, who started around 120 or so games at catcher, he also, I think, needed that break, and he had a bunch of big moments, especially on Saturday. And for Vlad, it almost felt like a bit of a reset after he had a good year, but for his expectations, it wasn't up to what his standards are. And then he just couldn't, in both games, he was incredible. Dalton Varsho. The Jays offense as a whole, relentless. Double-digit hits on both days. So, yeah, I think the time off was massive for the Blue Jays, and it also allowed them to reset the pitchers. It allowed all the relievers to get a bit of a break. So, no, I think it was incredibly important for the team.
Yeah, up and down the lineup, like you said, Matt, there was offense throughout here. Okay, here's the thing, though. They were up 12-0, so Savage comes off. Everyone, I think, understands the decision Schneider made, regardless of if they agree with it. But then 7 runs in the sort of back half of the game. Is that a cause for concern? I'm not saying cause, C-A-U-Z. But,
No.
Is it a cause for concern, Matt? Yeah.
I'm going to say it isn't, which is going to sound bizarre. I was the same as everyone else. In the 6th, 7th inning and part of the 8th, I'm like, guys, can we just wrap this up? I want to enjoy the rest of my evening. But the critical bullpen pitchers were great on Saturday. Remember Saturday's game? The bases were loaded with no out in the 6th, and the Jays were only up 2-0.
Yep.
And then what we saw yesterday, it was a lot more of the low-end relievers that were used early on after they pulled Trey Savage, who hadn't even allowed a hit. It's 2025. We don't blink an eye about it. Even allow a hit, but that's subject for another day. But then in the 8th and 9th inning, you saw the better relievers, Louis Varland, Mason Fluharty. They were able to wrap it up in the 8th and the 9th. So I think it's a minor deal that the Jays got hit around a little bit, which I think we all expected eventually the Yankees offense was going to come alive. And one other point. The Jays have out-homered the Yankees 8-1 in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
That's something we didn't see, because the Yankees, they led all of baseball in home runs coming into the playoffs.
And that's what I wanted to pick up on for the last question here, Matt. Of course, they're going to New York tomorrow night, Game 3. If the Jays win, that's it. But New York's playing at home. Shane Bieber, though, is countering for the Jays. I mean, pretty remarkable starting pitcher yet again for the Toronto Blue Jays. Do you think we're going to see a different Yankees team at Yankee Stadium, or are they just rattled and shell-shocked? What's your sense of this team now?
I'm curious to see, will there be any changes in the lineup? Will Aaron Boone do anything? Because you get Game 1 on Saturday, and then yesterday, the moment when they took Trey Savage out, the Yankees bats hadn't done anything. And if you start reading the headlines, there was a lot of panic, which is exactly what you'd expect. I mean, considering they are getting peak Aaron Judge regular season years, if they get knocked out of the playoffs right now, that would be an absolute disaster for them. I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes. I think, going from Savage to Shane Bieber, I don't think they'll do much. I think there was the right move by John Schneider. Let Bieber, who's been around for a long time, who's won a Cy Young, I think he's better suited on the road at Yankee Stadium. The one thing is, the Yankees bullpen should actually be pretty well rested. They used Will Warren yesterday, who pitched like 4 or 5 innings for the Yankees. And they get the day off today. It's still going to be a very tough matchup. And the last time, and I'm not getting things down, I think the Jays are going to win. The last time a team in the divisional round was 0-2 and then came back to win it. It was the Yankees, I believe, in 2017 against Cleveland. So it has happened before. But right now, if you're a Jays fan, every expectation has been met for the first two games. Every expectation has been exceeded in these first two games.
Absolutely. Super quick yes or no here. Does this series come back to Toronto, Matt?
No. Toronto wins in 4.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be awesome to watch. Matt Cauz, as always, appreciate this. Thanks so much.